Welcome to the Don't You Worry podcast. We're your hosts, Briley and Britton Caldwell, and we're here to say, don't you worry, through stories, encouragement, and joy. Be sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss an episode. So sit back, relax, and enjoy today's conversation.
What is up, you guys? We are back with the Don't You Worry podcast. It's your favorite hosts, Briley and Britton, and we have got maybe the episode that you guys have been waiting the most for.
Yes, we are so excited because today you are finally going to find out my college decision. It is here. The decision is made, and we are so pumped. Before we jump in, though, because that's going to be really, really epic, before we jump in, I want to talk about a really, really cool opportunity that I have and that hopefully you can be a part of. So I've gotten the opportunity to go overseas on my very first mission trip this summer, and I am so excited for the opportunity. I'm planning on going to Honduras with my church family, and I'm really excited for the opportunity. I've never done something like this before, so it's a little frightening. And the biggest thing is we just wanted to let you guys in on the trip, as hopefully you guys would pray for me, pray for the people we're going to be interacting with, and that we would be able to share the gospel and share the good news of Jesus with them. We are so excited for this opportunity. And also, if you feel led, there's a link on our bio and on our link tree in the description below, on our Instagram, socials, everything. There's a link if you feel led to donate financially to my trip and sponsor me. That would be a major blessing. Again, prayer is the most important thing that I definitely need. And if you do feel led to give, it could be $5, it could be $500. It's literally anywhere in between, whatever you feel led. But if you want to be a part of that, we wanted to give you that opportunity, as it's a really, really exciting time for me and something that I really hope to do, even though it is quite a bit of money I need to raise. But yeah, so
It'll be so fun.
Yes, it is so fun. I've never done anything like it, never even flown before. So this is going to be way out of Briley's comfort zone. But then if you do, then stay tuned. We'll keep you updated on how the trip goes and all the things. But just wanted to let you guys in on that. So we're going to jump in today. College decision.
Okay, so you need to update people who have not maybe listened to the entire episodes, or maybe that have just been like, okay, I'm just ready for her to release this.
Right.
So kind of update them on your entire college process.
Yeah. So obviously this podcast is called Don't You Worry. Mm-hmm. And if I am being so real with you guys, I have been really worried over all of the college stuff. I mean, it's terrible, but I have worried a lot over it because I've been scared. I don't want to choose the wrong college. I don't want to go where God doesn't want me. All these things, running through my brain. So I applied to, I believe, 7 colleges maybe. It was a good amount, and toured quite a few of them. I did my very first tour ever was Union University, which is one of our top 2 that we're going to debate in the end. That we're going to tell you.
Which you had toured like UT and Lee. There's some things with high school, just like kind of off and on. You know.
So I had been to certain schools, not on like a tour necessarily, but like been around, and great schools, fantastic stuff that I've been able to do with them. But I was like, I don't feel like that's where God's leading me. So I toured Union, my very first official college tour. And then from there, I believe the second college I toured was Samford. So those are my top 2, as some of you have been following. And it's also really funny, side note, I've been doing like back and forth on our Instagram, some funny hints with like Union and Samford. And if you've been paying close enough attention, like some of it's kind of all leading a certain way. But I've gotten texts from both people being like, congrats on picking Union, congrats on picking Samford. And I was like, uh-oh, somebody's going to get some bad news. It's like, sorry, but it has been confusing. So anyway, I've toured both of those. Those were my first 2 big college tours. Then as we got further in the college decision process, I would apply for certain scholarships and do different things at certain schools. And with the scholarships, let me just tell you guys, if you think your hard work is not paying off right now, it totally is. Our dad has always told us in high school, being a student is your job. And if you work hard at that job, like the scholarships and the opportunities that you get will pay off. That's like your paycheck.
To encourage our younger listeners too, like if you're in middle school, if you're an underclassman in high school, like start putting in the work now, because like you've learned through all of the essays that you've been writing and all of these interviews that you've been doing, if you have put in so much work with like your communicating skills and your essay writing skills and all of those things that have set you up for this opportunity.
Right.
And if you're an underclassman or, younger, then start putting in that work now, because then it's going to pay off.
For sure. No, I wrote so many essays. I literally, before certain interviews, I would be like, let me go reread the essay I wrote for this one because it might be different than the essay I wrote for the other one. And I had to keep it all straight. But I've learned so much through the interview process and just interviewing and doing scholarship opportunities at each school, because then after that, after those tours and things like that, I got invited to go to Belmont Scholars Weekend and interview for a scholarship at Lipscomb, which were both in Nashville. So I took a little Nashville weekend trip, toured both of those schools and interviewed with them. Both incredible schools. I wasn't at Lipscomb for as long, but at Belmont, I was there touring and I was just blown away by a lot of the stuff they were doing. It still didn't really feel like that's where I was meant to be, but I was like, this is so cool to see. I could see myself here, like doing things. It just wasn't like, oh, this is the one. But after like all of those processes, it just showed me that if you really do work hard, the opportunities are endless. And that may sound cliche, but literally, like, just work hard. It definitely pays off. But so then all of this college process, everything, I had all these schools in mind and all these ones that I toured, but Union and Samford just kept sticking out. The tours that I took for both of them, Union, as we've talked about a little bit on the college before, just the intentionality of the professors, the community, just the atmosphere of they were intentionally praying over us at their first preview day weekend. Everything about that just stood out to me so much. I was like, I can't get rid of this school. Like, they just are so intentional with me. And then Samford came around when I toured. I actually toured with my best friend. You didn't go on the first tour with me. I toured both schools twice at this point. But at the beginning, you went on the first one to Union with me, and then I went with my best friend to the Samford one. So fun. We were there. It was like peak weather, like we got to tour the whole campus. It was beautiful. And the people there were so kind. Like, everyone I met, I was just like, I would love to be friends with you. Like, this is so sweet. And I got to meet a lot of the students and think, I really could see myself here. This is incredible. So then I was conflicted because I was like, both of these schools are absolutely incredible. So after I did the Belmont Scholars Weekend earlier this year, after all of that, I thought, all right, final stretch. It is down to Union and Samford. We're not looking at anything else. I don't feel led to look at anything else. But both of these schools, I feel like I need to see again, because after I went to Union, I was like, oh, this is where I'm meant to be. Then I went to Samford and I was like, oh, this is where I'm meant to be. So I was like, okay, back up. It's senior year now. We're going to both again.
So after, like you said, you had kind of narrowed it down to the final stretch, Union and Samford, you actually got invited to the Union University Scholars Weekend. So tell me a little bit about that.
Yes, that experience was incredible because you see all the things on the college websites, but you never know what it's actually going to look like to live there, to be there on campus and all the things. So I actually got to stay in a dorm with two incredibly sweet girls, Meredith and Morgan. Shout out if you guys are listening. Absolutely the sweetest. And it was so fun because they're real people on this campus that like are relational. So they were like, let me go show you these buildings that we would be in.
And they were college freshmen, right? So like they had just gone through this process like a year ago. So they know where you're at.
And they also, yeah, exactly. And they knew what I would need to see. They're like, let me show you all these buildings on a little mini tour. And then they were like, let's go run to Sonic and just have some fun. Like, that was something that's like, oh, that's real life, not just college on campus all the time. So it's cool to see the different aspects of dorm life, staying in a dorm overnight and all the things. It honestly, it was a little bit of a awakening or a wake-up call that like, whoa, college is real. I didn't really feel that until this weekend specifically, but I was like, oh my gosh, we're 4.5 hours away from my home. We're so far away, and this is going to be something new and different. So highly emotional, but it was very, very exciting to see and meet with them and just live on the campus with them for a couple days. Then we also did a dinner with the president of the university. And I didn't get to speak with the president specifically, but I did get to speak with Ted Cluck. He was next to me at dinner, and so fun, so hilarious. We were literally talking about everything. It was Olympics week, so we were talking about the Olympics. We were talking about our favorite Friends characters. We were talking about obviously communications and what I want to go into, how on earth I got interested in podcasting and all the things. So it was really cool just to be so connected to who like I know I would be connected to. Like getting to talk to him and saying, this is why I'd be in your department. What are you going to do to lead me in the right direction? Because I do not know what I want to do for a career. No one knows where I'm going to end up in 10 years. But I was like, okay, this is really cool getting to talk to you because I know you would lead me where I need to go. I know you would set me up for success. So that also in itself was incredible. Basically, the Friday night we got there was just like fun, getting to know people on campus, getting to talk. Saturday was when the competition set in, because the Scholars Weekend is a competition and you're basically all competing for the biggest scholarships and you're doing interviews and different sessions and everything. This next thing is so hilarious to me because in my notes when I was writing down like, oh, what do I need to remember to say on this podcast episode? I wrote politics to pudding. And people are like, what in the world? So one of our hot topic discussions that we ended up doing in this competition process, they put me in a room with like 7 other people and we all had to discuss a certain topic. We didn't know what it would be yet. We just got a list of topics. And as I'm on there, I'm like, ooh, praying it's not going to be a topic I don't know anything about. Guys like, all right, and we're going to talk about the state of American politics. Throws it up on the board and I was like, you're joking. Not that I don't know anything about politics.
Right.
I've taken government classes, but like...
You just don't care that much.
Well, not even that. It's just, I'm not a scholar
Exactly.
at government. So like, yeah, I can tell you how the system works a little bit, but like, I couldn't tell you everything that's going on. Like, I don't watch the news as much. So I was like, okay, we got this. Just calm down. The whole time we were in there, I am max level stressed out. I do not know why. I was not expecting this at all. Because before going into the weekend, I was like, this is going to be good. While I'm in there, I felt like everyone was smarter than me. I was like, everyone knows. And it was a lot of guys, too. They were like, this and this with politics. And I'm like, oh, I know nothing, actually. So as I'm in there, I'm thinking, I'm doing so bad. This is not the way that I want to compete, the way that I want to show my personality. And I'm also exhausted at this point, not having a good morning. So I walk out of the politics discussion and I had inputted to the conversation a little. I just didn't know how well I did. So I get out of there. I'm texting mom and I'm like, Mom, that was bad. I probably failed. I'm probably getting no scholarships and, I'm going home. So then I'm upset or whatever. And I end up going right after that conversation, right after the politics discussion. I had lunch. I walk into the lunchroom or where we were having lunch catered. And this lady walks up to me and she's like, all right, girls, the buffet's going to be back here and this is what we're going to be doing. But Briley, we've got a special dessert just for you. And I was like, hello? For a split second in my brain, I thought, does she think I'm gluten-free? Because that is not happening. I was like, we don't have any allergies. Don't give me like the weird dieted dessert. I was like, I don't need that. And
Give me all the gluten you got.
And then it clicked. I was like, oh no, I know what this is. And the girl next to me goes, what, do you have a issue, like a dietary, do you have an allergy? I was like, no, this is going to be a weird story. But I talked about Oreo pudding on a podcast and shouted out Union's Oreo pudding. I said, so I'm pretty sure there's a bowl of Oreo pudding over there. I walk over this giant bowl of the Oreo pudding when, let me tell you, I was like, guys, what are we doing? And no one had eaten it yet. Like, it was just sitting out. So I was like, well, she said it's for me. I'm going to take the first scoop. I take the spoon. And I'm like digging out the Oreo pudding. Everyone's dying laughing. They're like, what? Wait, this pudding is so good. I'm like, yeah, you're welcome. That was me. But anyway, it was such a cool moment because I was stressed out all morning. And although this is so silly, so ridiculous that like they literally gave me one of my favorite desserts, that's ridiculous. But just the intentionality of somebody watched that podcast I talked about on their own time. And somebody just like heard that I liked that dessert and then wanted to have it here just because they saw my name on the roster. Like, what kind of intentionality is that? And it just made me so joyful, so full of peace that like someone saw me. It doesn't matter how terrible I did in that politics discussion. It doesn't matter if I don't get any scholarships at all. Like, it doesn't even matter if I go to this school. But the fact that somebody saw me is just so sweet and intentional and blew me away.
Yeah.
So thought we were having a bad morning, ended up being a great day.
My goodness.
Anyway, the whole weekend was just so good. And I loved it. It was an incredible time on campus and definitely one I will not forget.
So what were your thoughts after that Scholars Weekend? So like after that entire experience with Union, then what were your thoughts leading into the next like big college decision?
My biggest things I think were fears that one, again, the reality set in that I was actually going to move to college. So that was a big fear. And then I loved the weekend so much. And then I realized, one, I hadn't seen Samford again, so I needed to go back to Samford. And two, what if I was making the wrong decision by going here? Maybe there's something out there that I haven't seen yet. And I just felt so led that don't stop here. Like, you need to tour Samford again. You need to keep going. You need to keep going in this college process. Like, you've come this far. Keep going. But really, that's all that was in my brain. I was so scared to make the wrong decision. So I didn't feel like I needed to make the decision right after that weekend. But then we had kind of a week that I told you, I was like, the decision's coming this week.
Yeah. So tell me.
Yeah.
What was decision week like?
So decision week, this scholars weekend that I had done at Union, I was supposed to get the results back for what scholarships I got on a certain day, on a Monday. Then I had set up a Samford tour for that Friday.
Yeah.
So I was like, this week, I'm going to get the results back from Union, and then I'm going to go see Samford again. So I was like, by the end of that week, I should be able to know everything from Union and be able to see everything at Samford. And then,
plus, you had already gotten scholarships from Samford that you already knew about. And
Correct.
So you had like all of this information that you were all finally getting it down. And like, honestly, I know it's a point to where in this college decision, like, you should go where you think like the Lord is going to place you and where, everything, all of that. But also scholarships do make they make an impact on your decision. And so you already had all that information.
It was so conflicting because, as I didn't really explain well, Samford had given me scholarships long time ago, and they were like, this is the top percentage that you can possibly get at our school. And I was like, oh, wow, that's incredible. Like, what do you mean? So that was already in my brain. I was like, both schools, I'm going to get something good because I've worked hard and they've already told me like the amounts that I'm going to get. So the scholarships do matter, as you said, but it wasn't my everything. So I was like, okay, we saw Union again. Time to see Samford again and then reassess. So that Monday, I get a call from Kara, my admissions counselor at Union. Both admissions counselors I had been speaking to on the phone from Union and Samford a lot in the last week.
Yeah.
And I had just had a call, I'm pretty sure, with Kate, my one from Samford, like a couple days before that, which was crazy. Then on that Monday, I get a call from Karen. She's like, I have good news from your scholarship, from your Scholars Weekend scholarships and everything. So let's just have a video chat later today. I was like, okay. And again, I had already been in communication with both counselors, them telling me good news about like where I was at and with both scholarships. So I sit down and get ready to hear back from my Union counselor, Kara. Love her so much. And she was so sweet with this whole process and fought for me to get scholarships and the whole decision process and everything. So I will never forget this day though, because out of nowhere, it's March, out of nowhere, it's like a snow globe outside. It had been 70 degrees the day before. If you live in the South, then you know this. It had been 70 degrees the day before. Then there was like kind of a tornado the night before. And then we wake up and it's snowing.
Right.
And I'm picking you up from school blasting Justin Bieber's Mistletoe because I was sitting in the car in the school traffic trying to pick you up because I had left school early. And I was like, you know what? I have free will. So I just turned the Christmas music on. I was like, this is a day.
That was the vibe. I mean, it was
This is
snowing.
a day to remember. Yeah. I was like, why is it snowing in the middle of March? I have, I'm going to do what I want to do.
Yeah.
So I get the call from Kara. She gives me some very, very good news. I was excited. And I was like, okay, so now I know the scholarships from both schools are as good as I can get. This is incredible. And I felt a lot of peace with the situation with Kara, but then instantly she was like, by the way, I know you've been looking at Samford. Like, again, she was very invested. She said, I know you've been looking at Samford, so just let me know, like, within the next week. I was like, girl, I will let you know in the next week because I got to get this decision out and done. But I was like, okay, perfect. So I had pretty much ended that phone call. I was like, all that. Oh, and the night before, I start freaking out. One, because of the scholarship specifically at Union, but two, I started getting all of these negative thoughts in my head. I was like, you haven't made a decision by now. How are you even doing this? I was like, you're not going to get a cool roommate. You're going to get stuck with whoever doesn't want to be in rooms. Like, all these things are going through my brain that's like, you're not going to find a roommate. You're not going to find a place to be. You're going to basically, you're going to be on the last of the decision list that nobody else wants to do. This is, again, what's going through my brain before this decision week that I'd made up.
Yeah.
So anyway, a couple days go by, and I just have a lot of thoughts in my head back and forth. That's like, yes, this was so cool, but there's just something else I need to see. And what is it that I need to see that I haven't seen yet? So we go to Samford that Friday. So exciting because you got to see it with me.
I did.
And you hadn't gotten to see it before. I was so excited for you to see the campus. And it is one of the most gorgeous campuses in the country. I think they just got voted one of the most gorgeous campuses. But absolutely incredible. We got to meet with the department there.
Yes.
And he had a really cool name. I think his name was Professor Ignatius. Yeah. He was really, really cool, telling me about the differences in their departments because I don't know if I want to do communication or journalism or what that looks like. He was very helpful with that, though.
Yeah.
So we got to talk a lot to him. And then we got to do a student panel, which was really cool, getting to hear from 6 probably students and not talking about why you should go to their college, but talking about what they are doing on their colleges. It was so real and honest. They just played a video of like them playing pickleball and going to student life events, like college student life events.
Yeah.
And those kind of things were like, wow, that's the thing I want to get connected with. This is so real. And I was so excited. Each of them were giving different advice. And one of the guys, it was super generic advice that people had given a million times, but the way he said it just stuck out to me so much. He was like, well, I think my advice in this college decision process, which, by the way, all of the scholars weekends I had been to for each school were like top of your game, competitive, all the things. And Samford doesn't do that. They don't do the scholars weekend specifically. So we get there and it is the complete opposite. We are not all on the top of their game. You walk in and I realize every single one of us in there are tired of decision making. I was like, oh, we're all in the same boat.
It's a bunch of Brileys in the same room who were like, I don't know which college I want to go to.
It literally was. Everyone I asked is like, well, I'm between 2. I'm like, me too. I'm glad we're all in this together. But the advice he gave, he said, it doesn't matter necessarily where everyone else tells you to go. It doesn't matter what the name of the school is. It doesn't matter what you think you'll get connected with or whatever. He said, what matters is where are you personally going to grow the most? Where are you personally being led to go? Because every school I visited has been insanely awesome. Like there's nothing, I've found so much good in every school that I've been to and interviewed with. But the way he said it, he was like, you need to find the school for you. The one that is going to grow you and lead you on the right path. And he said, and if that's here, that's incredible. Like all of us have found that here. If it's not, that's incredible too. And the way he said it was just like, wow, that's so true. Why have I been paying attention to the name of the school that other people tell me to go to, or the location it's at on the map, or like I shouldn't listen to any of those things, which is why I had full clarity going to Samford that day. All the clarity in me was what I needed to make my final decision. Britton's got a bag from Samford and a box from Union because we have so much swag from both. We love both schools so much. And
so tell the people.
My final decision is, I feel like we need like a drum roll or something.
Producer, put a drum roll in.
I'm going to Union! Woo! I am so excited to announce I am going to Union University.
Look at this little bulldog.
Go Bulldogs. I'm so excited. Which,
for
by
all
the
of
way,
you people who, whenever she posted that she was going to be a bulldog, Union and Samford are both bulldogs. And so she starts getting all these messages and people are like, wait, they're both bulldogs.
Everyone was texting me like, I'm convinced you're going here. You said go Bulldogs. I was like, okay, do a little deeper research. They're both Bulldogs. I could not be more excited to be going to Union. And like I said, this was the hardest decision process of my life.
Yeah.
Because there was so much at Samford that was beautiful. And I mean, for other people, I think that's their school. Like that could be your school. You never know.
Right.
But so much on the campus and meeting people, I was like, they are doing something incredible here. But this is not where I'm led to go. This is not what and I realized that when the guy said that in our little advice panel or whatever, as soon as he said it, I was like, you're right. I'm out of here. Which is like, not really, but honestly. And it was crazy because every school I went to, I was like, I love this, but I could leave it behind. Or I love this one, but I could leave it behind. I just could not leave Union behind. And it was such a process, but I think so many of the things, it's a personal experience for sure. They were intentional beyond words that I can explain with me. And I know the success that I want, the excellence that I want in my life, the direction and future that I know they're going to lead me to, and just the overwhelming presence of God on that campus, of how they're going to pour into me spiritually they're constantly praying when I'm there on campus. There's just so much that I don't even know how to put into words. But I just felt so much peace about this decision. And I think it was intentional that I knew I needed to go back to Samford one more time to see it, to realize I can step away from all these other colleges because I know where I'm meant to be. And in a way, like, did Kara's phone call kind of make my decision that day when I got so excited and I realized, like, even though this is not a financial thing, I got this excited about this college. Like, that probably means something.
Yeah.
But I just knew, I was like, we need the final clarity. And we definitely got it. It was so good to finally make a decision.
guys.
Just the relief of it was incredible. And then I was like, let's just mess with people on Instagram. So we posted a little ice cream video that was actually in Birmingham, where Samford's at. But it never said that I had chosen Samford in that reel, because people were like, you chose Samford. I was like, no, I did not. You're not paying attention. I was like, you got pranked. But then I posted like a Jackson 5 song on my personal story. And it was like, Union University.
Little hints.
Yeah, so we've been having a lot of fun with it, clearly, keeping this secret from you guys. But I could not be more excited. So thank you guys so much, first of all, for praying for me in this process. Your girl has needed it bad. And
y'all have been so invested. I find it so funny. I'm like, why do so many people, like, why are they so invested in your life? She was like, I don't know.
I did a poll on, like, what school I thought people would do, and it was almost
so
torn.
many people.
Like, so many people voted.
It was so funny.
I'm really so excited to share with you all the news. Thank you for your prayers in the college decision process.
Thanks for sticking with us throughout the journey.
Be praying for me over the next few years, but we're glad to have that out of the way.
Let's go. So thank you guys for joining us for this amazing episode, and we will see you back next time.
Go Bulldogs!
Woo!